Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
So what are you going to Vegas for? You gonna win?
I'm gonna dance.
There's a spot open in the chorus line. We're auditioning tomorrow morning. I think you should try out.
I got an audition!
Okay, ladies, I got one interest here, and that's the show. I don't care whether you live or die. I want to see you dance, and I want to see you smile. I can't use you if you can't smile. I can't use you if you can't show. I can't use you if you can't sell.
From the creators of Basic Instinct, the last time they took you to the edge. This time, they're taking you all the way.
We take the cash, we cash the check, we show them what they want to see.
You got more natural talent when you dance than anybody I've ever seen.
She's going down to the Stardust. She's gonna be in the show.
Great! If someone gets in your way, step on them. It's not fair.
It's not about fair. It's about power.
You're a stripper, don't you get it?
I'm a dancer.
She's dazzling, she's exciting, and she's what Las Vegas is all about.
The passion is real.
I can fall in love with you.
The desire is intense.
You can't touch me, but I can touch you. I'd really love to touch you.
And the show is about to begin. Showgirls. Leave your inhibitions at the door.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
You know what the drill is. This is another episode of the podcast. I hate doing intros. Blah blah blah.
Here we are.
Anyways, you know what the show's about. And the show...
It's about nonsense.
Right now it is.
Yeah.
Because we just got done watching a nonsensical movie. What did we watch?
Showgirls.
We watched a movie called Showgirls that had a lot of potential, but is ultimately...
It's pretty bad.
It's a disaster, but it's a good bad.
Yeah, it's a really good bad movie.
Yeah.
It's one I enjoy very much.
Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Hi, I'm Emily, a.k.a. Emmy.
Good enough. Yeah, God. So we got into watching Showgirls. You suggested that we watch this movie, and I remember I told you I saw this movie on VH1, but it's heavily edited, so I missed out on like all the crazy sex stuff in this movie, and yeah, I certainly got an eyeful, to say the least.
So the very first time that I saw this, and the many times after the first time that I saw this, was actually on VH1. So the first time that I actually saw it, I was surprised at like how much obviously was edited out of the VH1 version, but it's just like, damn, why was this even like shown on VH1 to begin with? Like, it is so not like a made for TV movie. Like, no matter how much they censor out of it, no matter how much they try to like just make it seem like a TV safe movie,
it serves no purpose other than
no.
other than to just get residual checks from the filmmakers. That's about it.
Trying to cash in a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
Yep.
But this movie actually, even though it was a box office bomb and critics hated it, the movie went on to become a cult classic, and a lot of people bought the DVD of it, so much so that ended up recouping back its budget money. So it wasn't a complete failure.
No, it became a cult classic like way, way, way later on, like beyond the release of the movie. Like, people began to appreciate it for its fucking just absurdity of what it is.
And
like,
we'll get into that too,
yeah.
because there's actual like legit good directors that have complimented this movie, and we're like, this is actually a good movie, like for what it is.
But it took a lot of time in order for it to get to that point, though. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
was it
I mean, there was a lot of embarrassment and disappointment for years after this.
Yeah.
It is only until the past maybe 10 years or so that people have started to like it.
Myself included, I'd have to say. But only because it was within the last 10 years that I actually saw it in its entirety. So I got to see like everything beyond the VH1 offerings. So
You got to see all those tits.
all the tits. So like the VH1 version is really hilarious because aside from the really bad like dubbing, because they can't say a lot of the things that they say in the movie, they can't show a lot of things they show in the movie, of course, because tits and pussy, tits, tiss, and pussy.
Say no more.
Yeah. So it's just like really bad, like almost like animation, like bras, animation panties, like over
Yeah.
this live action movie.
Yeah, because they're wearing see-through stuff, right? And it's...
No, they're just wearing nothing.
Oh, so they've actually put...
We just watched it. They're wearing nothing.
Oh, no, because there was a couple scenes where they're wearing, like, see-through stuff.
Well, kind of see-through-ish, but yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, you can see them nips. You can see a lot of it.
Can I be honest? There was I reached a certain point. It was getting towards the end of the movie, and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of getting sick of seeing tits. Like, just a little bit. Like, they're not even that great of tits to look at.
It's just something that's there.
Yeah, like, you forget, like, oh, she's naked. It's just sort of like, yeah, her tits are out again, so what?
It's just, you're looking at something for, like, aesthetic value rather than, like, oh, this is meant for me to be turned on by. It's just...
No, and
it's
this is...
anatomy. Like,
yeah,
that's all.
And there was not really any erotic scenes in this movie. Any attempts to be erotic, like, really sensual, were just met with, like, laughter and just complete absurdity from my end.
Yeah, I'd kind of have to agree because, like, everything was really pushed to, like, the umpteenth degree.
Yeah. Like, I've watched erotic movies and have been turned on by them. But, like, this did not do... Convulsing on a guy, basically, while you're in a swimming pool, that's not sexy. But anyways.
Yeah.
Let's
That's one of those weird scenes. One of many weird scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can touch into that later on.
Anyways, Showgirls is a 1995. Remember that year? The 90s?
Deck year.
Year.
Yeah, halfway through the deck. Yeah.
It's an erotic drama film. I would put erotic in parentheses, but they don't. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven. Paul Verhoeven did RoboCop.
And he also did Basic Instinct, I think I read.
He did that right before this.
Yeah.
Guess what else he did?
I don't know.
Fuck, I just had it. Fuck, what did he do? Oh, Starship Troopers.
Oh.
Remember that movie?
Yes.
I love that movie.
No, that absolutely makes a lot of sense because, like, there's a lot of tits in that movie.
And it's very campy, but, like, intentionally.
Yeah, super done so.
Yeah.
And Denise Richards is in that, so that makes a lot of sense for the campiness.
Sure, yes.
Which, also, I believe I read that she was up for the part of... I don't remember if it was for Nomi or for Crystal.
I think it was Crystal.
It was,
if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the plot according to Wikipedia, because I don't know how I could sum up this movie perfectly. I mean, it's a pretty generic, like, A Star Is Born ripoff, basically.
Just small town girl trying to make it.
In the stripper world, yeah.
But her story goes much, much deeper and darker. Much darker.
Yeah.
But we can get into that in a few. So.
She has some issues.
Me.
But the film stars Elizabeth Berkley as the main lady, and guess what she was in, or most known for?
I mean, of course, Jessie Spano from Saved by the Bell. Whoever doesn't know that already, you live under a rock. So, hi, welcome to the surface.
But that's it, though. Like, it's this movie and Saved by the Bell. I don't know what else she's been in since then.
So the only thing I can really remember her after this movie, not that I really paid much attention to, you know, like a lot of like pop culture or just like things going on in general, but the only thing I can remember her from Showgirls and then after that was a Lifetime movie.
Of course.
which was like, I think like the early 2010s, I want to say. But it was where she portrayed to be a teacher, a high school teacher, who then became, or she was then sexually assaulted by a student.
Oh, I thought she was going to have sex with the student. That's where I was going with it.
No. Yeah. But yeah, she was a teacher. She got sexually assaulted by the student, and this student then tried to be like, hey, no, like she was trying to pursue me, and it became this like big battle. It turned out that she was the one that was actually sexually assaulted by the student. So like,
oh, so she was telling the truth.
Yeah. So that was the only thing I remember her in after, this big sexy debut that she had.
Well, her career's looking bright then, I would say, if she's doing like type movies about getting raped, basically. Which,
I mean, the next step up is just going to Hallmark Christmas movies about getting fucking.
Oh no, Candace Cameron.
About getting rammed by Santa.
Candace Cameron Bure owns that. She owns that whole network now. Now that Lori Loughlin's going to jail, pretty much.
Fucking got her anus wrapped around that shit.
Sure did. So yeah, she's the main lady in this. It's also Kyle MacLachlan, who's also in Blue Velvet, which is the first episode I did.
Yes. Just to comment on that. So the first time, one of the first few times that I saw this movie, as we mentioned before, it was on VH1. And Kyle MacLachlan, like, the only thing I recognized him in when I saw that was going back to childhood movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I recognized him from first was the Flintstones movie, where he played,
yes.
I think it was Mr. Stone.
I mean, probably.
Something like that. Like some generic fucking, like, rock.
It had some sort of rock name associated with him because, of course, everything in that show had it. So, yeah, I remember.
I'm clever.
I remember I saw that at the movie theaters. And I got the toys at McDonald's afterwards. Back when McDonald's had some cool toys.
Pertinent conversation to Showgirls.
Yes. I wish Showgirls had some Happy Meal toys.
I can only imagine those toys that they would have. How fucking happy they would be. They would be made of rock or stone or fucking hard rock stone cock. I don't know.
Or just silicone. I don't even know what you're talking about. I was just going to go with silicone tits they just get in there.
Cock tits.
It's a good pair.
Yeah. Moving on.
And so the film, it's about a drifter. She's kind of street smart, though. She's kind of savvy. She knows her way around. You know what I mean?
She's made her way around, so yeah. She knows what's up.
She ventures to Las Vegas, and she climbs the sort of, I guess, hierarchy from stripper to showgirl. Is that how it goes?
I don't know if that's how that ladder is supposed to go, but that's the way that she went. She went from the cheetah to
the cheetah club.
The stardust.
That's the noise they make in the stardust.
I suppose so. Like
when you walk right in.
Yeah, when you graduate from the stripper world to the showgirl world, you just go. Ugh.
Yeah. All right. Well, this movie generated a lot of controversy for its amount of sex and nudity. And the film was rated NC-17 for nudity and erotic sexuality throughout. Again, put erotic in quotes.
Quote unquote, yeah.
Some graphic language and sexual violence.
A lot of sexual violence.
Well, that one scene in particular.
Oh, yeah, very one scene in particular.
Yeah, it's really just that one scene.
Which, all right, so for folks like you and me who came into the Showgirls world from the television, the made-for-TV version, which, to begin with, this is not a made-for-TV version movie at all. But VH1, for whatever reason, decided, like, yep, let's pick up on this, and decided to air it on our network.
Although, not to cut you off, I do remember going to Wegmans and seeing this in the movie section, like where you could rent movies. I do remember seeing it there.
Wegmans had a very memorable Wegmans had a lot of memorable movies, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, we're gonna get back on track here, everybody.
Yes.
So yeah, the film ended up being like a huge like box office bomb, and it grossed $37.8 million against a $45 million budget.
Which is a lot of movie, like, or
That's even back then,
which is a lot of money considering.
It's a lot of movie too.
It's a lot of money for like a fucking like kind of shitty budget like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Considering like the outcome of the movie, like what the fuck did you spend $45 million on?
I was just gonna say, where did that go?
I'm just like blown away. Like, where's like the amazing costumes? Where's the amazing like the score, like the soundtrack, like the fucking like the bill, like the actor's bill? Like, come on, like.
Well,
where did that budget go?
I think $10 million of it went to Elizabeth Berkley's makeup.
And a small chunk of it done for Gina Gershon's nipples. Her shiny, bedazzled nipples.
I wonder how long those took to put on.
At least 46 minutes.
At least.
Maybe 48.
Don't tease me.
Well, that's what the nipples are for.
Yep.
Yes.
So, despite the negative reaction it got, didn't make any money. Critics didn't like it. When Showgirls got released on home video, it generated more than $100 million in video rentals, allowing the film to turn a profit. So, like...
About time.
Yeah, that's a ton of money.
It took a while for it to get that fucking, like, kind of cult status. People started to recognize it for its entertainment value, of which it was.
I mean, I don't think there's a point in this. One positive I can give about this movie.
No.
I was never bored while watching it. There's never a part where I was like, oh, this is a slow part, or I'm zoning out.
Yeah, no, every point of which I was like, all right, I'm intrigued. I'm entertained.
Yeah.
Let me remain engaged with what's happening in front of me, please. Yes, all of it. Thank you. Yes.
It's one of MGM's top 20 all-time bestsellers in DVDs.
No shit.
Yeah. It's fucking Showgirls. Top 20. Wow. So, one thing about Elizabeth Berkley. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to fucking get into this. So, she was actually dropped by her agent. Did you know about this?
After this? Or...
No, like after the movie came out and was a huge disaster.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember reading something about that. Yeah, she was dropped and like nobody really wanted to pick her up for like a long time.
Well, she follows that trope of like child actors who go and do the exact opposite of what they're known for, like Miley Cyrus and those type of people.
Right.
So she was taking a big risk by doing this movie, this NC-17 rated movie, and like,
yeah.
It fucking ruined her career for a while, at least.
Until she came back out in Lifetime.
Well, she got scooped up by Dancing with the Stars, too. She was on that. And so she was on Ellen, and Ellen asked her, like, if she still likes to dance after, everything is Showgirls and the failure of it. And she was like, no, I'm embarrassed she goes, I was embarrassed for a while by that movie. It was really hard to, like, take the fact that failed so badly.
I can see that,
but
I guess.
She was like, now I feel like I can, like, kind of dance again and be myself again, because she said, like, for a while I couldn't be. Because, yeah, this movie got lambasted.
But also, like, I feel now also, like, because like we're speaking about it, like it's also gotten some kind of praise about it because like of its awfulness, I guess. Like some people can kind of like appreciate like like the campiness of it,
Yeah, and you know what? Part of me feels like this is intentionally campy and like it's intentionally satirical, because if you look at the movies the director made before this, where it was like RoboCop's very satirical.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers is very satirical.
Yeah.
Like it makes me think like it was on purpose. It wasn't just a fucking bad movie. Like there's a reason behind. I mean, it's a bad movie still, but it's like a good bad. So the screenwriter of this movie, his last name is Azertez, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyways, he scribbled the idea down on a napkin. He didn't even have a script or anything.
I think I remember reading about
He just
that,
scribbled
yes.
it down on a napkin.
It was just like a nonsensical idea, and he fucking ran with it, and it, boom, became an idea.
Based off of scribbling this idea on a napkin, he was given an advance of $2 million to write the fucking screenplay.
I could have done better things with a napkin, like a sanitary napkin, but hey, good things were done with this too, I have to say.
It's not all for naught, you know? There's something to be taken away from this movie.
No, definitely.
I
think so too.
Yeah. What that is, I don't know.
I don't know either. But nonetheless, I think it was entertaining. I enjoy it.
It is entertaining. It's a bad movie, but it's entertaining.
Oh, it's a fucking terrible movie. It's an awful movie. Like everything, like the dialogue is fucking terrible. Like
Elizabeth Berkley's overacting.
Oh my gosh, like so badly overacting. Like
every character has to have a snappy line of dialogue, like a quick smart-ass comeback.
But just going back to Elizabeth Berkley, like with just like the physical motions of like how she's trying to convey emotion is just like really completely over the top, done with like a very like forceful manner in twitching of her body.
Like it doesn't even look like she's enjoying it or finds it erotic or sexual. She's just like, it looks like it hurts. Like she's like whips her neck back a bunch and it just looks like it's painful.
But even like just her acting, like she just not her sexual scenes, not even going there, just her acting.
Her sex scenes are better than her acting, I thought.
Yeah, I'll give her that, I guess too.
Yeah.
She was just a very over the top kind of gal.
Yeah.
I have to say. Yes.
So yeah, the screenwriter, he got $2 million. He also picked up an additional $1.7 million when the studio decided to produce it as a film. So he just got $2 million just for like trying to write it. Even if they didn't produce it, he still got $2 million.
So he kind of ran with it. He was like, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, he's the highest paid screenwriter in Hollywood history. Can you believe that? The guy that wrote fucking Showgirls is the highest paid Hollywood screenwriter.
My golly.
Yeah.
Cinematic masterpiece.
I just think, like, if you think we live in weird times now, like, imagine that. Like, imagine you're in that business and you just go, like, wait, what? So there was a long list of actresses that were considered for the role of Nomi Malone, that's who the character Elizabeth Berkley plays in the movie.
That slut.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm not a slut.
She's not a sex worker. Oh my god. If you could just see the fucking masterful dance moves that he did just now.
Yes.
The hands in the face.
Do you want to hear about the leading ladies of the day that turned down this movie? Or turned down Elizabeth Berkley's role?
I've heard, but do tell. Do tell.
Pamela Anderson.
Of course.
That's an obvious choice.
I mean, yeah.
Drew Barrymore.
Mm-hmm.
I could see her doing this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny McCarthy. I think the only thing she had to her credit then was like MTV or something.
Singled Out.
Singled Out. That's what it was.
Yep.
Denise Richards. So she was going to play the Elizabeth Berkley role. And Charlize Theron.
For that time, I guess she wasn't really much of a familiar name, but now thinking back on it, I think 2 Days in the Valley, I think around this time was where her name was attached to.
Is that a movie she made? I don't know.
2 Days in the Valley. Yeah, that was another famous director's movie.
Oh, I've never even heard of it.
We can cut this out, but yeah, look it up.
No, it's okay. All right.
Yeah.
But they all they all turned it down before Elizabeth Berkley, following the cancellation of Saved by the Bell, signed on to play the role.
Of course she did. That fucking slur.
She's like, I'm gonna get as fucking far away as this Saturday morning bullshit show I do.
Other than sticking her fist up her ass, yes.
Do you think they all fucked each other on that show?
Only Kelly and Zach.
You think so?
That's all.
Is that Mario Lopez and what's Tiffany Thiessen?
Tiffany Thiessen is Kelly, and Zach is...
Oh, Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Slater was Mario Lopez.
Oh, okay. You don't think he got anything on that show?
No, he did.
Just not them.
Probably from...
He probably fucked the black girl that nobody cared about.
No. From...
Good thing this
Screech! As I knocked the microphone
Screech!
over. From Screech.
Oh, good thing this isn't live.
Yes. It doesn't matter. Nothing does. Yes.
And you know the role that Gina Gershon plays? Gina Gershon plays a lady who is into her, but like manipulates her kind of.
So she is the lead role in the movie, and she has like kind of like a bisexual attraction to her, which she uses against her, I think. So it's against I think she first uses it against her when I sound so drunk right now.
No, you're good.
So starting over. So she has this like bisexual attraction to her, Gina Gershon's character, to Elizabeth Berkley.
Anyways, that's Gina Gershon, I think. In a nutshell, he summed it up. She's somebody who... I couldn't even follow what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Gina Gershon has...
She has great boobs. All right. Well,
Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon's in this movie.
Yeah, she's in this movie, and I'm drunk, and that's all.
But guess who was originally offered to play her role?
Denise Rich Tits?
Nope, she was the other one.
I don't know.
Madonna.
Oh, Madonna.
Sharon Stone.
Oh.
Sean Young. Do you know who that is?
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ace Ventura, but yeah, that she's in Blade Runner.
Yeah, that too, yes. Yeah, Finkel and Einhorn.
Finkel and Einhorn. And Daryl Hannah, who was a thing in the 80s.
Yeah, the mermaid.
Yep, mermaid movie. So yeah, the writer and the director, they interviewed over 200 Las Vegas strippers, and they incorporated parts of their stories into the screenplay. So
right, yep, I read that.
I guess
too.
what you see on screen is maybe true, some stuff.
I mean, I would imagine it would be. I mean, if you're doing a movie based on like that kind of storyline, why wouldn't you try to incorporate as much truth behind it as you could?
So yeah, this movie was a bomb. This movie's a huge fucking bomb.
Unfortunately, it took a long time in order for it to receive like the credit it deserved. Like the...
Yeah, no, it's... Well, I mean, that's the thing with cult movies. Like, Office Space was like that, too, I remember. Like, I remember that did not make any money in the movies, theaters. But then when it got played on Comedy Central, like, every other day, it got popular after that. And so, like, that's one of my all-time favorite movies, too.
And maybe it wasn't until Showgirls got played on VH1, kind of like that with Comedy Central, then it boosted its popularity.
Yeah, VH1 saved it.
Actually, which I feel probably entirely did boost its popularity because who really knew about it before then,
I mean, people just knew about it as a bad movie. You know what? People told me people told me Waterworld was a bad movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
I love that movie too.
I fucking love that movie so much.
I don't get why people hated it. People told me it sucked, and I saw it, and I liked it.
No, ever since I saw it from the very first time, I fucking love that shit.
Fuck
High
yes.
five. High five.
I don't know many people that like Waterworld. I really do like that movie.
Hell yeah. But here we are talking about Showgirls and admiring Waterworld.
Yes. It's the 90s. It's the 90s. It all comes around.
I was thinking Waterworld, like, associated with the pussy, but... Alright.
That would be a crazy...
That's my fucking stupid thought process. Yes.
No, because once you said it, I got it, so...
Alright, cool.
So the writer Esterhaas, this is what he had to say. He said, clearly we made mistakes. Clearly it was one of the biggest failures of our time. It failed commercially, critically. It failed on videotape. No, it didn't.
It succeeded.
It failed internationally. That rape scene was a god-awful mistake.
Oh, entirely.
Yeah.
Like,
there was no point to it.
No, absolutely. Like,
There's a black lady that's friends with her. They're kind of semi-lovers, and she gets raped by some dude. I don't even know who he was.
So basically what it seemed like was they entered the hotel room of, like, a internationally known singer, and this guy allowed for his bodyguards to rape this woman. I think that's what happens.
Yeah. And they do it in, like...
Again, I'm drunk, so I don't know, but...
No, it's, like, so barbaric. Like... Because there's a part... Because we had captions on when we were watching this movie.
Yeah.
And part of me, like, started laughing when it happened because you just hear one guy... You just heard one guy go, pussy! And it just came up on the screen. So, like, I don't know. That just made me laugh. But, yeah, it was a completely unnecessary scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, like, in retrospect, it was a terrible mistake. Musically, the movie was eminently forgettable. And in casting, the mistakes were made.
I mean, all around, like, it was just, like, a mistaken movie. Like, probably something that never should have been made, but, like, the masses are grateful that it was made because it was fucking terrible. But entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And they should embrace it at this point. So Kyle MacLachlan, who plays Gina Gershon's kind of lover type in this movie.
Right.
But it's kind of an open relationship in a way. When he was at the premiere, he said, I was absolutely godsmacked. I said, this is horrible. Horrible. And it's a very slow, sinking feeling when you're watching this movie. And the first scene comes out and you're like, oh, that's a really bad scene. But you say, well, that's okay. The next one will be better. And you somehow try to convince yourself that it's going to get better. And it just gets worse. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. I mean, I really didn't see that coming. So at that point, I distanced myself from the movie. Now, of course, it has a whole other life and a sort of inadvertent satire. No, satire isn't the right word. But it's inadvertently funny. It is. Very inadvertently funny.
Haha, not hee-hee.
Yeah.
Haha.
Ha ha ha.
Ha-ha.
So it's found its place. It provides entertainment. Though not in the way I think it was originally intended.
No.
So do you want to hear a quick clip of Siskel and Ebert making fun of this movie?
I would love to. I would like to see their take on this.
So yeah, just to set this up really quick, this is Siskel and Ebert talking about this movie. They both hated it, obviously, but Roger Ebert said it wasn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Gene Siskel really did not like it, and he was very critical of Elizabeth Berkley's looks in this movie.
Well, figure there has to be a bias on some end, so Here we go.
I felt bad for her.
Showgirls does have a certain entertainment value in its sleazo stupido way, and I wasn't bored by the film. It also has several hilarious moments and lines of dialogue that I'm not sure were intended to get laughs, but I'm glad they left them in because I did laugh. What's disappointing is that the Joe Esterhaus screenplay shows absolutely no ambition to be the least bit better than it absolutely has to be. Basically, he has simply recycled the oldest showbiz formula in the book where the chorus girl takes over for the star, and then he's disguised it with a lot of nudity and some fairly routine sex. Right before I saw Showgirls, I saw another Vegas movie called Leaving Las Vegas. It's going to open in a few weeks, and it is so much more powerful and insightful about Las Vegas and about sex that it blows this one right out of the water.
I had the same reaction to this picture, Roger, and that was disappointment with Joe Esterhaus. He's the highest paid screenwriter in history, and I really don't think he earned his money this time. It is the most simplistic. It is all about Eve and a G-string, and it really is. The lines of dialogue, the insight. You said show business details backstage. What, putting ice on your breast to make things stand out? That's old stuff.
That's
I
one
mean,
detail,
even
but
that,
also maybe the rehearsal and the audition process and how people get jobs and what they have to do to get the jobs.
We saw it in a chorus line. There isn't anything original in this picture.
No, there isn't. I didn't say there was.
Not a single thing that's original in the picture. And is it that sexy? There's one lap dance where you're just stunned that Elizabeth Berkley can do that. Berkley can do that with her body, but I mean, twist around as much as she does, but it's not sexy at all. And she's not sexy. She's hard around the face. I didn't think she was particularly appealing. I thought the other woman was more attractive.
Gina Gershon,
yeah,
yes.
more attractive. So I don't think they have an attractive star. They don't do anything original in the screenplay at all. I didn't care for the film.
Well, I didn't either. And I'll tell you, the thing that bothers me is Esterhaus basically had an opportunity here to break some new ground with an NC-17 movie. I mean, when we talk about NC-17, we would like to think that maybe a movie would have some insights into sexuality, into behavior, into prostitution in this case, or stripping, or into this kind of a woman's personality, and there's nothing. His movies are all about the same in connection with women. I think he's frightened of them. He always sees them as kind of bitch goddesses with knives and things. He has a switchblade out within 30 seconds of the opening of the movie, and there's absolutely no eroticism involving a relationship between two people.
Either he's afraid of them or he thinks that's what the audience wants to see, and that's what the audience will see. They're women as rag dolls, violent rag dolls. Okay.
I'm a violent rag doll, I guess.
You're a violent ragdoll, and I'm a, what did he say, bitch goddess with knives.
Yeah, bitch goddess with knives. That's who I am.
I'm a bitch goddess with knives.
I am a bitch goddess with knives.
So, while I fill up or get a refill on the wine, thoughts? Did you think he was too hard on Elizabeth Berkley? I, for one, thought he was a little bit too harsh on her. I mean, she can't help the way she looks. As she got cast in the movie, she's like, okay, I'm going to take this leading role.
I mean, that's what happens. Like, you get kind of typecast and you have to go with it.
Yeah, one good point he made, too, was about how NC-17, like, this was the chance. This is a big studio movie that was NC-17. Like, you had a chance to actually, like, make a profit and make a good movie and have that NC-17 rating and maybe have it be released in theaters. But he fucked up.
But wasn't this the only, like, NC-17 movie to ever be released?
In, like, a mainstream theater, you mean?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
No, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
No, it entirely was. This is, like, the only NC-17 movie to be released amongst, like, a major mainstream. And that was it. Hold up. I'm, like, 90% confident. Yep, Showgirls was the only movie to be given an NC-17 rating.
I mean, they blew it.
That's it.
They fucked it up. But so it did win. It did win some awards, though.
It did.
Yeah.
Some Razzes.
It won some Razzies awards.
They did.
It won Worst Picture of 1995. Guess what it was up against?
Barbed Wire.
No, I think that was earlier.
Oh.
And how dare you say that was a bad movie?
I'm just thinking. I've never seen it, but I'm just thinking along the lines of like.
I've only seen the Spike TV
shit
version.
Movies.
It was up against Congo.
I love that movie.
I do too.
Oh my god, that's like a really like top favorite of mine. I have to say,
It's a good,
I love Congo.
Yeah. It's Pat. That's the movie about. Remember that SNL
From
character?
SNL, exactly.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, no.
Really?
The Scarlet Letter. I've never seen that.
No, I'm not familiar with that either.
And last but not least, Waterworld was on that list.
I love Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Oh my God. Waterworld is such a really good movie.
Not to bring it back to Waterworld, but it is a great movie.
It's a fucking great movie.
Everybody told me that sucked. Again, everyone told me it sucked.
No.
I saw it, and I was like, why is this bad?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. God damn. Elizabeth Berkley won Worst Actress for 1995. Worst screen couple went to Showgirls, except it was any combination of two people. So like anybody in this movie that had a scene, like there was a two shot in the movie. I don't know.
Okay.
Paul Verhoeven won Worst Director. Worst Screenplay went to Joe Esterhazy, and Worst New Star went to Elizabeth Berkley. Her career was shut after this.
Okay.
Oh, so the movie Striptease came out the year after. That's the Demi Moore movie. And I don't remember that movie too well, but
I didn't see that.
Yeah. But it tried to distance itself from Showgirls and advertisements. Nonetheless, it won the Razzie Award for Worst Picture of 1996. So
this seems pretty close. So
you had two stripper movies back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth Berkley, after this movie tanked, she was dropped by her agent, and other agents refused to take her telephone calls.
I remember reading about that. I guess it kind of makes sense. Like when you take on a role like that, like.
And you're so over the top in it. It doesn't look good on you.
Just like overtly over the top.
But as we've mentioned before, it had cult status now.
Now it does. It took some time for it to get there, but it did.
There's an ironic enjoyment of it, though. It's not like an actual, like, this is a good movie. So,
just enjoying it in, like, a satirical sense.
Yeah, well, there's a writer, Naomi Klein, who said that it became popular because trendy 20-somethings were throwing Showgirls irony parties, laughing sardonically at the implausibly poor screenplay, and shrieking with horror at the aerobic sexual encounters.
Well, yeah.
It sums it up.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's been shown at midnight shows. It's good that it's gotten some popularity.
It has its own like cult status almost.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino said that he enjoyed Showgirls, referring to it as the only time in the last 20 years that a major studio made a full-on, gigantic, big-budget exploitation movie.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Without it intending to be what it is. That's just kind of what it happened to be.
Yeah. And as I said, it went on to make in $100 million at the home video sales. So that's, I think, Showgirls. I don't know what else to say about this horrible movie other than it's horrible.
I don't know. I've been sniffly and tired. Loving all of it. But have been dumb about it all night, I feel.
It's okay. We're going to wrap this up right now.
Yeah.
That was Showgirls.
All right.
I don't know if I would recommend this movie. Probably not. But
it's still an entertaining watch nonetheless.
That is true. I was not bored during this movie. I was entertained. God, I don't know how to end this now. I suck at openings and I suck at closings.
Well, let's just end it with, I really like your nails.
I really like your nails.
Or let me do your nails.
Let me do your nails.
Something about doing nails. Well done, Matt.